Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Crime and Punishment is a profound psychological exploration of morality, guilt, and redemption. Set in St. Petersburg, it follows Rodion Raskolnikov, a former student deeply impoverished and disconnected from society. Convinced that he is an extraordinary man, Raskolnikov commits a calculated murder of a pawnbroker, believing his actions can be morally justified if he uses the stolen money for good deeds. However, the murder plunges him into a psychological turmoil, grappling with guilt and paranoia. His interactions with other characters, including the virtuous prostitute Sonia, who later becomes his moral compass, force him to confront his own ethical convictions and the value of human life. Eventually, Raskolnikov confesses and is sentenced to Siberia, where he begins a slow and painful journey towards spiritual regeneration, guided by Sonia's steadfast love and faith. Through Raskolnikov's story, Dostoevsky delves into themes of existential despair, the clash between rationality and morality, and the possibility of redemption through suffering. Let's deep dive into the book. Early struggles in St. Petersburg. Rodion Romanovich Raskolnikov, a former student, lives in dire poverty in St. Petersburg, Russia. Alienated from society and struggling with his pride and poverty, Raskolnikov obsesses over a plan that he believes can change his circumstances. He rationalizes that murdering Alyona Ivanovna, a greedy pawnbroker, and stealing her money could justify his needs and contribute to society by eliminating a harmful person. The murder plan. Raskolnikov visits Alyona under the pretense of pawning a watch. During this visit, he confirms the details of her living situation and plans his crime. His inner turmoil and philosophical justifications intensify as he contemplates the implications of his intended actions, oscillating between extreme confidence and debilitating doubt. Execution of the crime. Raskolnikov executes his plan, murdering Alyona with an axe when they are alone. Unexpectedly, her half-sister Lizaveta enters the apartment, and Raskolnikov kills her as well in a panic. He steals some items and money, leaving the scene with no clear witness, but in a state of shock, barely managing to avoid immediate suspicion. Aftermath and illness. Following the murders, Raskolnikov falls into a feverish state, fluctuating between consciousness and delirium. He hides the stolen loot and remains isolated, battling with guilt and paranoia. His mental state deteriorates as he struggles to reconcile his actions with his moral beliefs, while avoiding any meaningful interaction that could expose him. Investigation begins. Porfiry Petrovich, the head of the police investigating the murders, becomes suspicious of Raskolnikov. Meanwhile, Raskolnikov's mother, Pulcheria Alexandrovna, and his sister Dunya arrive in St. Petersburg, compounding his emotional turmoil. Dunya has her own troubles, having rejected a marriage proposal from Luzin, a man with questionable motives. Raskolnikov's conflicts. Raskolnikov finds some solace in Sonia Marmeladova, a destitute prostitute whose father, Marmeladov, a drunkard, had earlier elicited Raskolnikov's sympathy. Sonia's deep moral and religious convictions provide a stark contrast to Raskolnikov's nihilistic views. Their relationship deepens, with Sonia embodying compassion and understanding towards Raskolnikov's plight. Revelations and confessions. As the investigation progresses, Raskolnikov becomes increasingly involved in discussions with Porfiry, who subtly confronts him with suspicions. Sonia urges Raskolnikov to confess, highlighting the spiritual liberation that could follow his admission of guilt. After intense psychological battles, Raskolnikov confesses to Sonia, driven by a combination of love, desperation, and the search for redemption. Trial and punishment. Following his confession to Sonia, Raskolnikov finally admits his crimes to the authorities. He is sentenced to Siberia, where he begins serving his punishment. Sonia follows him, vowing to wait for his return. The harsh realities of prison life are tempered by Sonia's letters, which sustain Raskolnikov's spirits. Spiritual reawakening. In Siberia, Raskolnikov undergoes significant psychological and spiritual transformations. His interactions with fellow prisoners, coupled with Sonia's influence and his own reflections, catalyze a gradual reevaluation of his beliefs. He starts confronting the enormity of his crimes and the need for atonement. Redemption. Raskolnikov's journey culminates in a spiritual rebirth. Influenced by Sonia's unwavering support and the harsh lessons of his imprisonment, he begins to embrace a new outlook on life and morality. This inner change suggests a future where he can fully atone for his past and live a life informed by genuine compassion and understanding, marking the end of his punishment and the beginning of a new chapter. Let's explore together the main themes and concepts of the book. Alienation and isolation. Crime and Punishment vividly explores the theme of alienation and isolation as Raskolnikov distances himself from society and even his own family. His intellectual elitism and disdain for moral norms lead him to believe he can operate outside societal rules. This self-imposed isolation is crucial to his plan to murder the pawnbroker, reflecting his belief that he is a superior individual. However, his subsequent mental anguish and paranoia highlight the negative consequences of isolation, illustrating how alienation can lead to a distorted understanding of oneself and the world. Morality and ethics. Dostoevsky delves deeply into questions of morality and ethics, particularly through Raskolnikov's theory that some individuals possess the right to transgress moral laws to achieve greater goods. The novel interrogates this philosophy by demonstrating the protagonist's struggle with guilt and the moral ramifications of his actions. His interactions with other characters, such as Sonia and Porfiry, serve as ethical contrasts and catalysts for his eventual realization that no one is inherently entitled to commit crime under the guise of a higher purpose, underscoring the intrinsic value of every human life. Redemption and transformation. The possibility of redemption and personal transformation is a central theme, anchored in Raskolnikov's journey from crime to punishment to spiritual rebirth. Sonia, representing unconditional love and Christian forgiveness, plays a pivotal role in guiding him toward moral and spiritual awakening. His initial nihilism and detachment slowly give way to the recognition of his sins and the need for atonement, culminating in his confession and the symbolic acceptance of suffering as a path to redemption, illustrating Dostoevsky's belief in the potential for profound personal change. The psychological impact of crime. Dostoevsky presents a penetrating look at the psychological impact of crime on the criminal. Raskolnikov's mental and emotional state before, during, and after the murder provides a psychological case study of guilt and existential dread. His paranoia, delusions, and oscillation between rationalization and remorse showcase the destructive effects of criminal actions on the psyche. This theme is a stark reminder of the deep and often debilitating consequences of transgressing moral boundaries, emphasizing the conflict between intellectual rationale and innate moral repulsion. Society and poverty. The novel portrays the grim realities of poverty and its dehumanizing effects on individuals and society. Through characters like Marmeladov and his family, including Sonia, Dostoevsky explores how poverty compels individuals to make desperate choices, such as Sonia's decision to turn to prostitution to support her family. Raskolnikov's own dire financial situation partly motivates his crime, reflecting on how poverty can influence moral decisions. This theme is critical to understanding the social context of the novel, highlighting the interplay between societal conditions and individual moral choices. Let's talk about the author. Fyodor Dostoevsky was a Russian novelist, short story writer, essayist, and journalist Renowned for his exploration of psychology in the troubled political, social, and spiritual atmospheres of 19th century Russia. Born in 1821 in Moscow, Dostoevsky's works often feature complex characters and profound philosophical themes. His major works include Crime and Punishment, The Idiot, Demons, and The Brothers Karamazov. Dostoevsky's narratives frequently delve into issues of morality, free will, and the human struggle with sin and redemption. He is celebrated for his deep character analysis and has had a profound influence on literature, psychology, and philosophy. Dostoevsky passed away in 1881 in St. Petersburg. Sincere thanks for watching. If you found this summary helpful, consider taking a moment to hit the subscribe button, like or share the video. If you have any feedbacks or book requests, make sure to leave a comment. Regardless, I wish you a great day.